the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it.
Wake up! Wake up, everybody! Wake up! Wake up, everybody!
Hey, Henry. I turned the radio on at 8 o'clock. I didn't hear your show. But they move you up and cut your hours too? Well, I know your next move gonna be out the door, baby. But this is what I called for.
Message deleted.
Uncle Henry Show, good morning. Uncle Henry Show underway here on News Radio 710 WNTM 99.5 FM, The Jag. You can also watch. We have video available. For those that want to look at me just stand here, you can see the video on the News Radio 710 WNTM Facebook page. And good morning already to Tuskers. Tuskers, our first viewer of the day. So how you doing? How are you? We continue to have this wonderful humidity. So if you like that, you're enjoying life. I'm personally, I know you didn't ask, but I'll share with you anyway here at the beginning of the program. I'm personally going through some kind of an allergy situation. I wouldn't call it a health crisis, but I've taken 3 different specific things just for allergies as I'm being overwhelmed with sneezing and things you don't want to hear about that deal with allergies. So wish me the best when it comes to the allergies. I am under the influence of various allergy medications all over the counter, so that I actually have an excuse today. Now most days when things sound idiotic, it's due to my own mind not being up to par. But today, my mind is even more governed by an outside force, the allergy medicine. So I asked you how you are. Are you all ramped up over the new Russia stuff with Donald Trump Jr. and his emails? I did notice I've not spent a lot of time watching the people go into hysteria over it, but it is yet a new level of hysteria where some people are running out and saying that Donald Trump Jr. Was possibly treasonous. I heard some commentator, somebody with that had somehow earned the ability to be a talking head. I heard them this morning saying that it's not just a smoking gun, it's a smoking cannon. Meanwhile, the experts also agree, really no criminality here, but it's still a smoking cannon. I've not yet caught the hysteria, but maybe you have. We'll get more into it as we continue First Traffic and Weather together.
Time Saver Traffic from the Dean McCrary Porsche Traffic Center.
Well, it looks like it's going to be a rainy drive in, at least for a lot of you this morning, as we do have some showers and thunderstorms. Spotty rain continuing to move up from the Gulf this morning. So you will have that to contend with. Road work in Fairhope continues on Battles Road between Section Street and Highway 98, which is impassable for drainage work. The project should wrap up, though, by the end of the month. With Time Saver Traffic, I'm Ray Romero.
Gulf Coast weather from Local 15 and the Kemco Metal Buildings Weather Center.
I'm Jake Dunn for Local 15 News. Your forecast calls for more storms, especially during the afternoon inland. We already have some along the coast this morning. Called a partly sunny and hot day with a high around 90. Mid-70s tonight with a slim chance of a storm, and then back into the low 90s on Thursday with a few more showers and storms. I'm meteorologist Jake Dunn for this iHeart radio station.
I'm Jason Flom, founding board member of the Innocence Project, and my new podcast is Wrongful Conviction, available on iHeartRadio. On Wrongful Conviction, I interview a different exoneree every week and help them to tell their incredible stories of tragedy and triumph against impossible odds. You've got to hear it to believe it. Wrongful Conviction from iHeart Studios, available now on iHeartRadio.
News? Check. Traffic and weather? Check. Opinions? Check. This is the Uncle Henry Show, only on News Radio 710 WNTM.
Thank you for your listenerhood to News Radio 710 WNTM and 99.5 FM The Jag. See, Donald Trump Jr., Russia, emails, email chain, meeting with Russian lawyer, etc., sending many people into a frenzy, sending people into some type of conniption fit. The people that are paid to be on TV as an alleged expert, they had a magnificent. Yesterday was probably one of their favorite days, because they got to just talk about hyping something up. They really enjoyed hyping it up yesterday. Here is yesterday, the son of Trump, number one son, Donald Trump Jr., went on the Sean Hannity show. Now, I was asleep because I'm a responsible person, and no one who's awake at 5 in the morning needs to be up late at night watching Sean Hannity. But I do have a clip or two. So if you're like me and you were responsibly sleeping, here is an exchange between Sean Hannity and number one son Donald Trump Jr. over this whole situation with him meeting with Russians and getting information on Hillary.
Honestly, my takeaway when all of this was going on is that someone has information on our opponent. You know, things are going a million miles an hour. You know what it's like to be on a campaign. We just won Indiana, but we're talking about a contested convention. Things are going a million miles an hour again. And, hey, wait a minute. I've heard about all these things, but maybe this is something. I should hear them out.
Okay. When you read the parts about the Russian government or Russia supporting your father, did that put off any sirens in your head?
Honestly, I don't know. I mean, I think this was, again, just basic information that was going to be possibly there. I didn't know these guys well enough to understand that if this talent manager from Miss Universe, you know, had this kind of thing. So I wanted to hear him out and play it out and see what happens. But, you know, people are trying to reach out to you all the time with this.
All right. So you spent a lot of time talking about it, and you actually said at one point that, hey, if it turns out to say what you say it is.
Of course.
What did you think it might be?
Listen, I'd been reading about scandals that people were probably underreporting for a long time. So maybe it was something that had to do with one of those things. I mean, this was her perhaps involvement with the Russian government. So, you know, again, I didn't know there was any credibility. I didn't know if there was anything behind it. I can't vouch for the information. You know, someone sent me an email. I can't help what someone sends me. You know, I read it. I responded accordingly. And if there was something interesting there, I think it's pretty common.
Okay. Donald Trump Jr. on Hannity, with lots of explanations of what his state of mind may have been when reading these emails and then meeting with this attorney. I've been thinking it over, because I saw let's see, the New York Post, they had some editorial saying that Donald Trump Jr. was an idiot. They've been very supportive of President Trump, but they called Donald Trump Jr. an idiot. I've read other things online about how it may not be criminal, but it's certainly the wrong thing to do. I've been thinking about it. I've been thinking about the temptation. If you're involved in something like that and somebody gets in touch and says they have information on your opponent, how irresistible would that be? How irresistible would that be? Especially when it's for something like President of the United States and not running for President of the Homeowners Association. It would be hard to say no to information on your opponent, I think. Uncle Henry Show continues.
You've heard the news.
It's a new generation of missiles.
You know the story.
All options are on the table.
Now it's time to share your opinion.
We have a very serious issue in the world right now called North Korea.
News Radio 710, WNTM.
If you're ready for a magnificent man cave, TSI Alarms and Audio will handle your home theater design, equipment, and installation. Call them at 251-662-0500 or visit them online at theTSIgroup.com.
At Mercedes-Benz Mobile, servicing the customer always comes first. If your Mercedes is in need of repair or general maintenance, come see us at our state-of-the-art service center on Dolphin Street. Our highly certified auto technicians are equipped with the latest tools and technologies to take care of your Mercedes or any other luxury vehicle, including Lexus, BMW, Audi, and Jaguar. Give you a call.
And good morning. Just want to say good morning to those of you, small number of you on Facebook. Let me look and see if you're there. You, the Facebook viewer, the early morning. There's a few of you. Kurt Kramer, who uses his emojis too frequently, I think. Sharon, Steve Clevenger, David O'Neill. Good morning to you, those watching on Facebook. Let's see, coming up, well, I was going to say coming up in the next segment, we're going to check in briefly with Ariel. If she's back, she's still scurrying around. That's why you're not seeing me now. She's not there to switch the video, to actually show me. But Ariel is scurrying around doing things that she needs to do for the morning, whatever those things. And I have a don't ask, don't tell, because it could be bathroom related. Ariel and I have a standing rule that if either one of us needs to go to the bathroom, we will go to the restroom no matter what. And I don't want you to think of that as some kind of a disrespect of you, the viewer and or listener. But we do have that rule that we will go to the restroom if need be. So she may be off into the restroom. And that's why we won't ask her where she's been. There she is. All right, coming up, we may find out the physical state of Ariel because last night she was pole fitnessing. And there are other things to get into. All right, we're back on radio here in just a couple of minutes. I saw on Local 15 that the Amazon, yesterday was Prime Day, Amazon Prime Day. And I just, because I can't tell if something's a bargain or not, I didn't buy anything on Amazon Prime Day. But it is of interest locally to the extent that Amazon's sortation center is going to open up, I believe, in October of this year. They want to be operational, according to Mobile Chamber of Commerce. Amazon wants to be operational in Mobile County before the holidays so that they can take advantage of having a sortation center in this part of the world. And they plan to employ, I think, 1,000 people, over 1,000 people. But no details are up about the jobs. They're going to post the jobs online closer to the opening date in October, but full-time, part-time, and seasonal with Amazon. So, you know I wonder if, with all these packages being delivered around the country from Amazon and so many other companies, I wonder if people in the cardboard industry that make cardboard boxes, I wonder if they have become enormously wealthy because we have a lot more cardboard boxes flying around this country to people's front doors than we ever have in our history. Who knows? There might be some cardboard billionaire that we don't know about out there. Stand by. We are going back to radio after the weather.
You're in luck as we're in for the same type of weather today. Expect isolated storms along the coast during the morning hours, giving way to scattered showers and storms across all of the area this afternoon as we climb to 90 for the high. I'm meteorologist Jake Dunn for this iHeart radio station.
You're home for Rush every weekday at 11. This is the Uncle Henry Show on News Radio 710 WNTM.
Uncle Henry Show. Thank you for listening to the Uncle Henry Show. News headlines from Fox and from WKRG coming up in about 10 minutes. A lot of things to get to on today's show. Before we get to any more of it, let's check in with Ariel, who's been very busy this morning, scurrying around the radio station, doing various tasks. Ariel, last night was another. So Pole Fitness was not last night. It's tonight.
No, it's tonight.
Okay, so you did not work out last night on the pole.
No, last night I was watching the American Ripper.
Okay, I will ask you about that later.
Okay.
All right, but I've got to talk to you about the Amelia Earhart situation. Did you see the update?
Yes. Well, no, I haven't seen the update. I finally saw the end of it, though.
All right, so Ariel watched, what was it, 2-hour documentary?
2 hours.
On a photograph that was allegedly misfiled, top secret, that showed Amelia Earhart captured by the Japanese after her plane crashed in 1937.
Really good documentary.
So the story that broke yesterday is that some blogger went on Google to look all this stuff up, and within 30 minutes had found that photograph. It was part of a tourist book that was released in Japan, and the photograph was released and published in a book 2 years before Amelia Earhart made that flight.
Really?
Yes.
So my skepticism was correct.
You're especially about people claiming that they had misfiled a photo and finally found it when the photo actually was not a top secret photo.
Right.
It was published in a tourist book.
So it was never accidentally misfiled. It was filed where it was supposed to be, with the untop secret stuff.
I guess so, but it really
Now
you have to rethink all the experts from the history, and the History Channel
Listen, one of the experts was a high school teacher. Trust me, I don't have to rethink anything.
Well, the History Channel, I guess that's the channel that did this.
Yeah.
They are facing much egg on the face over this. When it took one man about 30 minutes online to find stuff that would refute their 2-hour documentary.
Just the guy who was hosting it, the former FBI somebody or another, like his whole commentary just seemed so rehearsed, so scripted. It was like, I'm sorry, sir, I can't buy this. I can't. Nobody talks like this in a documentary when they're speaking about something that they legitimately know about. This seems rehearsed. This seems made up. I won't be able to do this.
Okay. Well, for everybody that watched the Amelia Earhart thing or was following it closely, this was another. The thing that got me most of all was that this was being found out in 2017.
Right.
If there was some to it, we should have known a long time ago. But this has been debunked. And now, rapidly, after they got a lot of people to watch the documentary, the documentary holds no water.
But you almost have to feel like they knew this was going to happen, which makes you still go and watch the documentary. So either way, they still win.
Well, and the question is, do they even care? They probably could care less if there's anything to it. Your point is the right one, that all that mattered was that they even got you to watch it.
TMZ is not credible, but guess what? People are still going to watch TMZ and quote TMZ because of the flim-flam foolery. 'Tis a thing.
It is. All right, Ariel, thank you. I'll be checking in with her again. In fact, we may have a Dear Ariel at some point this morning. So, and once again, this tells you what you need to know about the History Channel. That they don't necessarily go over their documentaries to make sure there's accuracy in the documentary. It only took 30 minutes. 30 minutes online to get the picture and debunk the story. All right, we have news coming up in just a few minutes from Fox and from WKRG. I'm sure you'll hear, or not WKRG, Local 15. I'll be saying the wrong TV station for a few months until I get used to the fact that we're working with Local 15. So please bear with me, Local 15, if you're awake and irritable. And I did see something on Local 15 last night that we'll have to talk about in the next half hour about a burglary. Well, I don't know what you classify it as. This was in the Oakley area. And I guess it would be considered a popular part of Oakley because it was near Callahan's, which a lot of young professionals love to flock to Callahan's. But somebody cut the power to somebody's house to break in and rob. But the people were in the house. And I find that, I don't know, is that a home invasion? I consider, if I'm in my house and somebody cuts the power and then busts in the front door, I do consider that a home invasion, even if they don't know I'm there. But we'll get into all of that and more as we continue. Uncle Henry Show. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching.
Your morning cup of Sean. This is the Sean Hannity Morning Minute.
So if Donald Trump Jr. has this meeting, okay, and it's a media meltdown orgasm, then I have to ask, well, what is the difference here between Ukrainian government officials trying to help Hillary Clinton? This isn't the right-wing media. This is Politico. And it goes on to help Hillary Clinton and undermine Trump. Wait a minute, Ukrainian government officials are trying to help Hillary and undermine Trump? Also disseminating documents. They helped, quote, Clinton allies research damaging information on Trump and his advisors. What did Hillary know? When did Hillary know? A Ukrainian-American operative who was consulting for the DNC met with top officials in the Ukrainian embassy in Washington in an effort to expose ties between Trump, Paul Manafort, Russia, according to people involved. The Ukrainian efforts had an impact in the race.
The conservative underground meets later today on the Sean Hannity Show.
Finding great candidates to hire can be, well, like trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter is different. It doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them. With its powerful technology, ZipRecruiter distributes your job everywhere it needs to be to find the right candidates. In fact, over 80% of jobs on ZipRecruiter get a qualified candidate in just one day. So, while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, only ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
Used by businesses of all sizes, ZipRecruiter offers the most qualified job candidates with immediate results. And right now you can try ZipRecruiter free. That's right, free. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free for your free trial.
710 Time Saver Traffic from the Dean McCrary Mazda Traffic Center.
We have quite a bit of shower activity pushing on shore from the Gulf this morning, and in the midst of it, a handful of accidents as well, including one in the Milton area that's been on the board for a while now. This is Commerce Road and Avalon Boulevard. Other than that, though, kind of a quiet morning. No big accidents or breakdowns for I-10 drivers. For those of you coming across the Bayway to and through the Wallace Tunnel. With Time Saver Traffic, I'm Ray Romero.
Gulf Coast weather from Local 15 and the Gemco Metal Buildings Weather Center.
Hello and happy Wednesday. We've got similar weather to what we had on both Monday and Tuesday. What exactly is that? Well, a few storms along the coast during the morning hours, giving way to scattered, if not numerous, storms farther inland as the day progresses. We'll go for a high today of 90, 75 tonight, low 90s tomorrow with a few more storms. I'm meteorologist Jake Dunn for Local 15 News and this iHeart radio station.
This report is brought to you by Dove Men Plus Care. Did you hear that 91% of guys that use Dove Men Plus Care antiperspirant recommend it? Dove Men Plus Care user Bobby said he doesn't know how it works, but it gets the job done. That's good enough for me, Bobby. Pick up some new Dove Men Plus Care antiperspirant for yourself at your local retailer.
Amazon Prime Day may be over, but Amazon's opening day on the coast is getting much closer.
I'm Local 15's Darwin Singleton with this iHeartRadio News Update. The Amazon Sortation Center in Theodore is expected to open this October. This is the first one in the state of Alabama. It's a place where employees will pick, pack, and ship orders from the facility. And according to Amazon, the announcement of the majority of jobs for hourly employees will be made closer to opening date. Drawbridges and costly rail improvements could derail a plan to bring Amtrak passenger service back to the Gulf Coast. That's according to a letter from CSX Rail to a New Orleans newspaper featured in a story on northescambia.com. According to the report, CSX officials say numerous drawbridges along the coast would prevent Amtrak from a mandate that trains run on time 80% of the time. And the rail company says more than $2 billion in infrastructure would have to be made to allow both freight and passenger service to coexist on the route. CSX says that information has been available for some time. A group made up of officials from several Gulf Coast states, including Alabama, is working to restore Amtrak service from Louisiana to Florida. Well, the numbers are in. Nearly 250,000 people visited Pensacola Beach over Blue Angels weekend. That's about 16,000 more than last year. Escambia County officials counted the vehicles and estimated there were 3 people in each car. Saturday alone, 21,000 cars were counted heading to the beach, not to mention tens of thousands more on boats. Pritchard police call them hotspots, places in the city where crime is more likely to flare up, and it does when Local 15's Jasmine Williams rides with officers determined to snuff them out. It's a revealing Local 15 reality check. See it tomorrow morning at 5:44 and 6:44, only on Local 15 today. I'm Local 15's Darwin Singleton for this iHeartRadio station.
Fox News Radio, I'm Rich Dennison. Donald Trump Jr. on the defense after news he met with a Kremlin-connected attorney last year with hopes of gaining information damaging to Hillary Clinton. He says that's the extent of his formal contacts with Russian officials and associates, adding he didn't tell his father about the meeting.
It was such a nothing. There was nothing to tell.
Trump Jr. appearing last night on Fox News Channel's Hannity Show. Senate Republicans hope to unveil their latest plan to repeal and replace Obamacare this week.
A vote on a bill last month was scrapped after several Senate Republicans expressed opposition. GOP leaders now hope to release revisions later this week to set up a vote next week.
Fox's Jared Halpern on Capitol Hill. The nation's largest auto recall getting bigger. Takata adding nearly 3 million Ford, Nissan, and Mazdas to the recall list for faulty airbag inflators. Fox News. We report. You decide.
Hey, this is Uncle Henry. I want to tell you about a dentist I found in Mobile named H. Radcliffe Brown Jr. When I moved back to town, I asked people if they could recommend a dentist, and they recommended Radcliffe Brown. I had a cracked tooth. I needed a crown on it. I went to see Dr. Brown at his office, 1501 University Boulevard, and he had just remodeled with state-of-the-art technology. So he was able to make the crown for me while I waited. It was a same-day crown, no temp. And good morning, Facebook. Back on the radio in less than 2 minutes. Today is the day the paper is thrown at buildings all over local Alabama. And there are actually interesting stories on the front page. There's one of them about a dog. The headline is Midtown Dog Turns Up in Kansas. And it's about a dog. It went missing, and the family looked for it for 12 days. And then they get a call. The dog was microchipped. So they got the call, and it's the dog was in Dodge City, Kansas. So they went to Dodge City, Kansas, and they found out that the way their dog got to Kansas was that a pair of teenage boys from Dodge City, Kansas, were vacationing in Florida. On their way home, they stopped in Mobile, and they found the dog in a parking lot. The dog had gotten out. The dog wasn't wearing a collar. The boys assumed it was a stray, and they loaded the dog up and took it with them to Kansas. Now, that is an odd, to me, if I'm off on vacation, I'm not going to drive a dog with me across the country when I find it stray. That's just not, that sounds like some type of teenage thinking. All right, stand by. We're back on radio. Uncle Henry Show, thank you for listening to the Uncle Henry Show. Before we went into the massive news traffic weather break, I was talking to Ariel about that Amelia Earhart documentary that got so much attention, and then a Japanese blogger spent about 30 minutes online and found the same Amelia Earhart photograph that the entire documentary is based on. The blogger found that photograph digitized in Japan's National Library as part of some tourist book that was issued 2 years before Amelia Earhart had her plane go down. So it took a blogger 30 minutes to debunk the documentary. I do have an email on the topic of the documentary. Subject line on the email is fake news. Email reads, would the Amelia Earhart documentary be considered fake news from the History Channel? And that email is from Cut. Cut, is it fake news or is it fake history or revisionist history? We've had a lot of people talk about revisionist history through the years, about history being written a certain way. This is a very clear-cut example of something that was revised. Yes, a retired federal agent said he discovered the image in the National Archives of our country. Well, I guess we could all look for it if we knew what to Google online. Now, also, there was a story, Local 15 did a story about break-ins in the Oakley area of Mobile, where a family, 3 o'clock in the morning, the family inside is asleep, and the burglars cut the power and then go on into the house, which really makes you wish that you slept with some type of a cannon, just that you slept with a lot of weaponry around you if that stuff is going on. What I found interesting about the story, beside the fact that the people went into the house even though somebody was there to burglarize at 3 a.m., it happened to be the house of former Mobile City Councilman William Carroll. So a former city councilman's house. I guess you'd call it home invasion. They may have not gone in there to hurt someone, but it sounds like home invasion to me. I don't know what the charges would be. But William Carroll's house, pretty close to Callahan's in Oakley, somebody went in at 3 o'clock in the morning. Traffic and weather together every 10 minutes on the 9s, and then additional show.
Saver traffic from the Main Street Flooring and Design Traffic Center.
We are seeing some minor slowing westbound I-10 crossing the Escambia Bay Bridge in Pensacola this morning. You do have some road work that has the right lane blocked there. It's also pretty wet through that part of the drive, which isn't helping matters either. Meantime, in Milton, we have an accident that's been on the board for a while on Commerce Road and Avalon Boulevard. With Time Saver Traffic, I'm Ray Romero.
This report is brought to you by LifeLock. It's morning. Here's an eye-opener. LifeLock can see more threats to your identity than you can see if you're just monitoring your credit. And if something happens, a U.S.-based specialist can work to fix it. Go to LifeLock.com. Use promo code RISK to save 10%.
Now, Gulf Coast weather from Local 15.
I'm Jake Dunn for Local 15 News. Your forecast calls for more storms, especially during the afternoon inland. We already have some along the coast this morning. Called a partly sunny and hot day with a high around 90. Mid-70s tonight with a slim chance of a storm, and then back into the low 90s on Thursday with a few more showers and storms. I'm meteorologist Jake Dunn for this iHeart radio station.
Unlimited streaming of all your favorite music right at your fingertips in the iHeartRadio app. All your favorite music, all your favorite stations, all free. Open the iHeartRadio app and listen today.
This morning at 9, Ask the Expert. Then Rush at 11. Right now, it's Uncle Henry on News Radio 710 WNTM.
Uncle Henry Show. Thank you for listening to the Uncle Henry Show. Last night on the Stephen Colbert Show, Joe and Mika of MSNBC went on the Colbert Show. And it's now, ordinarily I would not tell you about this because I've never really watched an episode of the Joe and Mika Morning Joe. And I've never, ever watched not even 1 minute of the Stephen Colbert Show. That's a personal decision. But I'm mentioning it because it's in the news today that Joe Scarborough, former Republican politician, who is the Morning Joe, Joe Scarborough, he mentioned that he's leaving the Republican Party. So this is going to make him a temporary hero to members of the media. The media is going to, they love this, that President Trump has driven someone out of the Republican Party, and you're just going to hear a lot. This will raise the profile of the Morning Joe man, and you'll be hearing a lot more about the Morning Joe man, at least throughout the day. Here is a brief clip of the Morning Joe man talking about his decision.
How much of this country and our values are they willing to sell out?
But aren't you a Republican?
I am a Republican, but I'm not going to be a Republican anymore. I've got to become an independent.
Woo! And the audience, he's leaving the Republican Party to cheers. The audience is glad that he's leaving. The Trumps have driven him out of his party.
But I'm not going to be a Republican anymore. I've got to become an independent.
Woo! Woo! All right, so you heard the crowd reaction. He's left. Trump is so, sickens him so that he, and you remember he's engaged to the lady on Morning Joe that President Trump was talking about. He was tweeting about her face bleeding from a plastic surgery or something like that. So he's left. You heard the audience. They were just in ecstasy over his decision.
I've got to become an independent.
And so he's going to be, the requests for him, he's going to be all over the media now to explain on other shows his decision to leave the Republican Party. President Trump attacking those two ultimately has helped those two. Would anybody care what they had to say? I'm sure you still don't care. You still don't care. And I don't really either. But for them going on, they're going on TV and they're sad. They're expressing that they're upset about these tweets and things. But when the reality of it, this is probably the best thing that's ever happened to their show. The fact that President Trump was elected and then decided to attack them, that's the best thing that could ever happen for their show, because otherwise, who would care? And again, I know you don't, and me, I don't either. They ought to be sending President Trump some kind of a gift. Not that there's anything the president needs, but he's helped them enormously. And now Joe Scarborough looking to become some type of media hero. That he's left the Republican Party, driven out of it by the Trump.
Radio for real men.
Surprise, surprise.
The Rush Revolution rolls on. Weekdays at 11, News Radio 710, WNTM.
This is Uncle Henry. I'm here with John McNeil of McNeil Aaron's Lambert Financial Group. You've been in business for over 90 years. Now, how is that possible? How are you able to stay in business that long?
Uncle Henry, our firm was started by my grandfather in 1922 right here in Mobile. Obviously, we've done something right for almost 93 years. Honesty, integrity, doing what we say we will do all play a big part in our success. We're also helping people understand all of their options in planning and investing. People want and should know all of their options. We've been able to show them in easy and simple to understand plans that we designed how to succeed.
For all these years, the professionals at McNeil Aarons Lambert Financial Group have been helping their clients with their personal estate and retirement planning. Give them a call, 666-5000, that's 666-5000, or visit them online, the website, malfinancial.com. And hello, Facebook. Just want to talk to you briefly here, just to let you know that I'm appreciative of you watching on Facebook. Oh, and there are some of you. Russell. Good morning, Russell. I hope all is well. By the way, Russell, longtime listener of the Uncle Henry Show, Russell Lang, or Lange, depending on how you pronounce it. Russell, you'll be glad to know that I've been invited this week to test some bacon. Now, I'm not getting paid to be a bacon tester, but someone locally wants to do a bacon comparison between two of the top line brands of bacon that you have to pay more for, and they've invited me to come in and be a taster of top shelf bacon. So isn't that wonderful? It is a wonderful thing. So Russell, I'll keep you informed of the bacon tasting. Let's see what else to mention to you, the early riser watching on Facebook. I saw something. A lot of people are worried about genetically modified food, and I've not been. Maybe I need to be, but I haven't been worried about the genetically modified food. But I did see yesterday some news story about genetically modified pineapples that are like pink. Now, I've always thought of genetically modified food as food that you would do something to a plant so that it would resist disease when it was growing, or that it might grow bigger, or maybe even taste better. I've never thought of messing with something to make it a different color. But there are allegedly, in fact, the pineapple looks so weird, it made me wonder if it was a hoax, just like the picture of Amelia Earhart, the pink pineapple. But what I saw in it was a claim that people were excited about the pineapple. I'm more worried about changing the color of a pineapple than any, I guess, because we use the eyeball test to figure out if we want to eat food. So I don't know that I am in favor of changing the colors of pineapples. I know that's an odd thing for me to bring up. All right, stand by. We go back to radio.
Weather from Local 15 and the Kemco Metal Buildings Weather Center.
Good Wednesday morning. I'm meteorologist Jake Dunn for Local 15 News. If you've enjoyed the past few days, well, you're in luck, as we're in for the same type of weather today. Expect isolated storms along the coast during the morning hours, giving way to scattered showers and storms across all of the area this afternoon as we climb to 90 for the high. I'm meteorologist Jake Dunn for this iHeart radio station.
Roll Tide. This is the Uncle Henry Show on News Radio 710 WNTM.
Uncle Henry Show, thank you for listening to the Uncle Henry Show. News headlines coming up from Fox and from Local 15's Darwin. in about 10 minutes. Earlier this morning, I was mentioning the crime story I saw on Local 15 about a break-in in the Oakley neighborhood. I've got another email from Cut. This is about that story. Subject line on the email is, "Do you have a gun?" Email reads, "One thing that caught my ear in the reporting of the home invasion near Callahan's is the fact that the 911 operator asked the victims, 'Do you have a gun?' Sadly, she answered no, and that email was from Cut. Cut, I believe I don't know if the young lady actually said no. I think she said that not in the room with me. I thought the answer was a little vague. They were in the, well, look, I'm going to try and share the story with you so you can at least listen to it, you the listener. But yes, Cut, that also caught my ear, that the 911 operator asked, "Do you have a weapon?" So let's listen as Greg Peterson introduces this story about the burglaries in Oakley.
Inside their home.
As she says, the burglar cut the power to their house before breaking in. Tonight, police say it's part of a spike in burglaries in one of Mobile's historic neighborhoods.
Local 15's Christian Jennings is live on South Broad Street with what police are doing there. Christian?
Well, police have already beefed up patrols. We saw a lot of officers in this area in the same block here as Callahan's Irish Pub earlier today when we were getting interviews. It was actually at this house right behind me here on South Broad where police say the door was kicked in the early morning hours. It was 3 a.m. Saturday morning when Julia Carroll and her mother woke up to a burglar in their home on South Broad Street. Her father, William Carroll, a former Mobile City Councilman, was out of town. The video is dark, but a neighbor's surveillance camera shows a person running through the Carroll's yard.
They cut the power, so we couldn't turn on the lights, and nothing was working.
You can see we put a new lock on it right here, but they cut this bolt off of this box.
Then the thief kicked in the front door.
When the 911 operator was talking, "Do y'all have weapons? Do y'all have weapons?" We had absolutely nothing in the room with us to protect ourselves. So that's what kind of scared me.
Thankfully, the Carrolls weren't harmed, but the burglar got away. Mobile police say in less than 6 weeks, there have been 14 break-ins reported in the Oakley Garden District.
All right, that's a lot. Oh, at least to me. 14, but yes, you did hear the exchange there where the young lady said, "We didn't have anything in the room with us," in the dark home. And it just sounds like a lot of work if you're burglaring to cut the power and then bust in a house when there might be somebody in there that might have some weapon to go after you. There's got to be a better way to do whatever it is you're doing other than breaking it, because you're going to kick in the wrong door one day. No doubt about that. All right, that was from, as you heard, Local 15 and Christian Jennings. Speaking of news, we have news coming up in about 5 minutes from Fox and from Local 15's Darwin. He may or may not mention the story that we just shared with you. Let me go to the email inbox. I'm getting more email from listeners that are beginning to gain consciousness and awaken today.
Hey.
Subject line on the email is Trump Jr. or a meteorologist. Email reads, "Good morning, Henry. Best wishes with the allergies. Who gets more hysterical? The liberal media when they have a new Trump-Russia story, or a Gulf Coast meteorologist when a new low-pressure system pops up in the Gulf during hurricane season? I'm expecting nothing to come of the latest Trump witch hunt. How about you?" And that email from the Common Man. Common Man, thank you for your best wishes with the allergies. I am beginning to enjoy the allergy medicines that I'm on. It's made me far more mellow than normal to be under the influence of a variety of allergy medicines. Who's more hysterical? Not sure. not sure. It's hard to say who's more hysterical in the comparison that you offered me. As far as nothing to come of the latest Trump witch hunt, probably not in that, not in the short term, in that people are admitting that it doesn't look like it's criminal, just that it was not a good idea or it was a bad thing to do. In the long run, it may have an effect in that a lot of people that have been defending the president are upset because they see this as evidence that his campaign wanted help from Russia or was interested in it or something like that. I just noticed a lot of his defenders were upset yesterday over this revelation. So in the long run, it doesn't help. It may not, probably no one will get in trouble over it legally, but it doesn't help. I don't know if that's the kind of answer you were looking for. It was for a lot of the people that have been defending the president, they considered it bad for their morale that this thing actually went down. They consider it bad for their own morale, but that's probably the extent of it, as something to dampen morale. Common Man, thank you for your email, and we'll have. After the news, if you missed the Donald Trump Jr. #1 son of Trump interview on Hannity, I'll share some clips with you in the next half hour of the Uncle Henry Show. You only need clips. In fact, in modern society, you may only be able to handle clips. Thank you for listening to the Uncle Henry Show on News Radio 710 WNTM and 99.5 FM, The Jag.